day 4. And he created the night for rest. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. But we find that today we spend the day and the night for work. Are we going to be surprised that there is no barakah in this work? Allah imposes the care, the welfare, the training, feeding, accommodation, clothing of the woman on the man. And the man or both or the family insist that both of them should earn and complement. When they start as graduates, they are level 8 each, and level 16 does not take them for 16 days. The combined earning from work does not take one person for 16 days. This is where our faith comes in. We don't seem to understand barakah. We don't seem to understand. When your earning is fixed on a God that makes you earn it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abandons you to that God. Let us go practical. Let's look at two things. Today is 12th of August, I suppose. If this morning somebody came with a request to take care of a particular family need that will cost 100,000, an average income earner looks at the calendar first. Practically, where do I get 100 naira on the 11th of August? What he did not say is that my God does not pay me mid-month. My God pays me at the end of the month. Even if this person has 500,000, because it is always from debt to debt. It's a debt cycle. He has his salary, he finishes it, he has credibility and collateral security to borrow from 1, 2, 3 persons to sustain himself till the end of the month. He's an average human being. He's a faithful believer. So he has to borrow. When he gets his salary, he pays this debt and becomes a good person, because the Prophet says, pay your debt when it is due and you have the means. Bury your debt immediately so as to delay his reward were he to be a good person, and to harbor evil were he to be a bad person. Marry your daughter or son. Marry for your daughter or son. Immediately she or he is matured and ready for marriage. For you will encourage zina, and that will be fitna. Zina is fitna. They sound alike, zina, fitna. Yoruba call it agbere, tonbaere. You know, in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah asks us to go into our wives in order to get fadli. In Surah An-Nur, the same thing. In other words, intimacy is a lot of risk. Ariziki dey there. If you avoid intimacy for anything, you are withdrawing the risk of Allah, the provision of Allah from yourself. These things have to do with faith. Allah says this. Our education says no. For example, why is Allah talking about intimacy as risk, provision? What Allah has written for you. Why is it that they're interpreting it to mean if the woman will be pregnant? What about the woman that will not be pregnant? That are reached menopause? Because our education does not comply with the spiritual content of the Quran. Why does Allah say we shouldn't have this intimacy with any other person apart from our spouse? Why does Allah impose in fact of the woman on the man? رجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم. The man is the provider, is the pillar for the woman because of the fadlu that Allah places on one above the other and because of what they spend from their money. This is faith, but this is reality. The income of the man is not enough. He therefore has to work more or steal or borrow. He has to spend more time out of the house. Therefore, it's either he gets tired every night and he doesn't have intimacy that will increase the provision because he doesn't believe in it. He believes only in the material thing. You earn 400,000, 200,000, 300,000, and that's all. You earn 1.2 million, 1.5 million, and that's all. That makes you a rich person. But that is not the provision. That is the sabab. That is the sabab. Karun wi nishe wa. On the practical note, if the woman is happy, she either prays for you or assists you. The only way a woman is happy is when she has intimacy, genuine intimacy, and enjoys it. One way the woman will have enjoyable and enjoyed intimacy is to get attention. 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 It's not that you are both in the same house, you are even on the same bed, but no attention, no communication, no touch. No talk, no touch. You're either talking or touching. Touching may be louder than talking. No touch, no talk, no attention. Even if you have the intimacy, no one will enjoy it. Neither you nor her. And Allah places risk on intimacy. However, works compromise intimacy. You are working with government, you have to travel all the time, or you are working outside your home. Intimacy is sparse, occasional, seldom. If you're a weekend husband, you may not even have anything till another weekend. You came home tired, came at 10 p.m. The following morning, Saturday, you have wedding, you have all sorts of ceremonies. Then on Sunday, you have religious programs. So it has to be next week. If you're young, the only time you come home may be when she's on her menses. And that means 5 days off, you're back. No intimacy. No intimacy. Because of our limited provision, we cannot make ourselves happy. We have to borrow. That is the best. We have to complain. So, those of us, meanwhile, I thank Allah on behalf of those who attended the National Mukhayam at Abeokuta I ask Allah to accept it as an act of ibadah from us, to bless us abundantly for our sacrifice, especially the national coordinator, Engineer Idowu, all the assistant coordinators. I ask Allah to bless you abundantly. Next one is Ogbomoso in November. Let us begin to mobilize for it. Tell people. Let one tell the other. We're talking about this matter at our family seminar during the Muhayyam. And this issue of polygyny came in, and it became almost rowdy. Alhamdulillah that we didn't fall into debate of abandoning this topic to go into discussing polygyny. But the main issue in polygyny is provision. That is the first question, if you remember. How does a man qualify to marry second, third wife? And the first issue is, how much does he earn? How much does he earn? Whereas the hadith about marry second, marry third, marry fourth was clearly clarified. People cite this hadith mischievously. What happened to that man was that the first wife was a liability, second wife was a liability. When he married the third, she came with skill. She taught the first and second wife the skill of doing caps and so on, and the work. And when all these wives sold their products, they brought the income home. The family became rich. It is not just that when you marry, you get rich. No. But it is that there may be increased provision from increased sacrifice from the man. Basically, Allah puts pleasure, enjoyment that has no equal in intimacy. There is nothing pleasurable more than intimacy. There is nothing. But there is no exercise that is more vigorous than it, except swimming. But the pleasure in it does not make you know that it is a vigorous exercise. It is therefore a sacrifice. Somebody that's having intimacy is sacrificing, is spending. 3 ways of spending. You are spending goodwill, managing women's emotions, especially the first wife. Managing the first wife, appealing to her, pleasing her, trying to make her understand. Managing the second wife, not making her to ride the first wife and making her to accept her as a sister or mother. Managing your emotions, not to see a weakness in one, not to behave as if it is the weakness of one that makes you marry the other, but to marry because you are sacrificing. You are making a member of a family happy. How will you feel if your daughter cannot marry? Because everybody that comes to marry her is already married. I had a personal experience. I was emotionally distressed until that Saturday evening. That was why we come up with these 3 C's. When you are in a family, there's a tendency to display complaint, condemnation, complaint, condemnation, conclusion. Complaint is to see no good in everything we do, especially because our finances are not there. They are not adequate. And I dare say, our finances will never be adequate because we are jettisoning the union, the companionship, the intimacy, the happiness in favor of material acquisition. We are bordering too much. about how to make enough money to take care of the home. We are not bothered about how to make enough time to pay attention to one another. Even if what takes you out is dawah, it's an error. It is an error. Those who did dawah before us never traveled without their wives. Never did. The Prophet ﷺ will we cast a lot among his wives whenever he was going to Gaza. Don't forget, it was this Gaza that they went, and during the journey, they had intimacy with their wives. During the journey, they had intimacy with their wives. They woke up to find that there was no water to perform ablution. That was what made Allah reveal that type of ablution and dry ablution in Surah Al-Ma'idah. Whether you're on a journey or lamastumun nisaa falam tajidu ma'a fatayammamun tayyiban sa'idan tayyiba famsau biwujuhikum wa aydikum. Meaning, when you travel on a journey or you touch your wife, you have intimacy with your wife, with a woman, and there is no water, do tayammum. But our work makes us close our eyes to this. Our limited resources tells us, no, I must travel alone. I'm talking about everybody, including myself. I just came back home from a 27-day journey alone. It is absolutely wrong. It is absolutely wrong to travel alone. Whatever it is you are going to do without your wife is not as important as that wife. I appreciate those who came with their wives. Just 3 days, they came with their wives. But Oga came alone. I'm not condemning myself. We complain. We complain because we're not doing the right thing. We will always complain because we are not having intimacy. We're not having intimacy. Intimacy will increase our provision. That's why, again, in Surah An-Nur, Allah advises men who have slave girls to allow them to marry and not to force them to have intimacy with them, looking for provisions of this world. Yabtagu fadlan, to look for fadlu. Intimacy is provision. Here, only your faith will tell you that intimacy is provision. Your brain, your education will not tell you that. And that is why you avoid polygyny that could increase your provision. When a man marries more, he sacrifices, he's doing zakah, he's feeding more mouths. Allah will expand your provision the more you spend. Spend 1 and get 10, minimum of 10. But continue to spend 1, 2, wahala. Why? I have limited income. Allah is not asking you about your income. Allah is talking to you about His rahmah, about His mercy. I'm not asking you to now decide to marry second wife tomorrow. I have not. I've been married for 34 years. I have not. Or 35, sorry. I have not. But I'm saying those who can, on the basis of limited resources, are making a mistake. Because that marriage itself is expansion of resources. It's a strategy to expand resources. You are asking Allah, I am feeding your servants. I am taking care of your servant. Expand my provision. Without saying it, Allah will expand your provision. So, work affects our faith because it limits our income and it damages our brain and it obstructs the flow of positive thought in our minds. We think only of the limited resources from our work. So we tend to worship work. We now worship work as God. This is what is happening to most of us now. Everything, without exception. For the average man, everything without exception cannot be discussed except we consider work first. Let's go funny. The Prophet ﷺ encourages us to do nikah on Thursday or Friday. People do their marriages on Wednesday. They think it is wedding day. Wednesday, wed, next day, wed, next day. It's not correct. When I was in marriage, we used to do it on Wednesday, and if we have a spillover on Thursday. But why are we doing marriages on Saturday? So that people will have enough time out of work. So that we have Gbogbo. It is not meant for Gbogbo. If you want Gbogbo, do it on Friday after Juma. But Gbogbo will not be available on Friday. Why? They're going to work. It has to be, must be there. That is what affected the Ibadan people. On Saturday, my daughter was wedding. It pained me that I couldn't attend that wedding. It pained me seriously. Well, I couldn't abandon the Muhayyam and go and attend. This is our nature. This is our nature due to our bad education, dysfunctional education. Our education dysfunctions us so much that we are programmed to go to salary. Whereas the education that we are meant to acquire is meant to liberate our people. Surah Al-An'am that was read to us, there was the tafsir of which was done on Friday night. If you remember, during the Muhayyam, Ibrahim got knowledge and then said, Ya Qawmi, my people. Meaning, your education is meant to liberate yourself and to enable you to liberate your people. Finally, as we're introducing this topic once again, and I want us to really engage ourselves to have a good conversation tonight. Work is a third party because the family is the vehicle with which to travel the world. Life is a journey. The vehicle of this journey is the family. In the family, there are only three relationships. Only three relationships. Indeed, there are two. You are either a child or a parent. Tell me the third one. You are either a child or a parent. The third one is grandparent. Tell me the third one. But here, either you are a child or a parent, your work intervenes in your responsibility. If you are a parent, the father must take care of the wife primarily. The wife is a conductor. But if the man is not married, is a child, he must take care of himself, take care of his parents. Surah Al-Baqarah. So there is child-parent relationship. If your parents get old, it is your responsibility to take care of them. When you start work, it is your parent you must take care of. When you marry, it is your wife. So you are taking care of your family. Your wife, because she's the conductor, she may not bring in any passenger. She may not. But if she's not well or well treated, better managed, the vehicle will not make the journey successfully. The conductor can crash the vehicle. The driver, the man, guard, spied, take for granted the conductor. The children are the passengers in the vehicle of family. The world, life is a journey. It is your family as a parent or as a child. Even if you are a grandparent, as a child, you take care of your parents. As a parent, you take care of the wife that gives back to these children and the children. So if you are coming to make a journey of this world, and the first consideration in every matter is your work, you are a failure. All of us are. All of us are. When you want to think of marriage, you think of your work first. When you want to think of doing a good thing, you think of your work first. You want to think of doing dawah, you think of your work first. You want to think of any good thing, you think of your work first. You want to train your children, you think of your work first. No, it shouldn't be so. Attention should be on your parents if you're a child. You have not married. Attention should be on your conductor as a driver. As a mother, attention should be on your children. On your children to make them love and respect their father, not to take over the children and make them hate their father. By the 3 C's: complain, condemn, conclude. You complain about their father to them, you condemn their father eventually, and you conclude that you must deal with him. You and your children must deal with him at old age. This is what is happening. Your concentration, the woman is between the children and the husband. If you don't have children, what will you do? Will you kill your husband? And everything has been exemplified by the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The Prophet had wives. None of them as a child. He concentrated only on them, and they concentrated only on him. And they were only interested in him. They were not interested in any other. They were only interested in their husband. Now that it is not a must to have a child, except if Allah gives you, why do we concentrate only on the children? No one is saying you shouldn't bother about your children. No one is saying that. We are saying undue concentration and emphasis on the children to the neglect of their father is an error. This is what we find. We now use work. Torí ọmọ ni mo ṣe ń ṣiṣẹ́. Torí ọmọ ni mo ṣe ń ṣiṣẹ́ is not Islam. Torí ọmọ ni mo ṣe ń ṣiṣẹ́ is not Islam. You don't have to work because of your children, because the father has the responsibility to work because of you and the children. All right? Even this work is supposed to be just an act of ibadah. The work we're talking about is supposed to be just an act of ibadah. Just as the marriage itself is supposed to be an act of ibadah. The lie we tell ourselves that we want to do many things as an act of ibadah without being sincere about it. The lie we tell ourselves is what ruins everything we do because we're not sincere. So I'm here to see somebody whose work is genuinely an act of ibadah, whose consideration while doing this work is not the income and the prestige. Many people can survive outside the civil service. What about the prestige? They think more about the prestige. And this prestige turns the work into a god. If this work is going to give them prestige, and if you're going to do it, by all means, endure the troubles of the work and enjoy the hazards of the work because of the prestige, irrespective of the effects or consequences, impact, dangerous, destructive impact of the work in their family. As long as you are able to come home with money, it doesn't matter whether your wife is crying all the time you are outside the home. It doesn't matter. What matters is she has enough money to spend as a result of your work. After all, Allah commands you to spend money on Him. These are the various ways we are justifying error. So we must take care of the conductor, feed the conductor, give the conductor honorarium, and then the journey will be successful. But concentrate on the vehicle. The conductor will crash the vehicle. It shouldn't be a third party. The third party should be children. They may not come, they may come. All other third parties can be adequately managed, but work has virtually become a god that is virtually refusing to be managed. May Allah save us from turning our work into a god. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. Let's please have a good conversation tonight. It will give us direction on how to move next. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاك الله خيرا sir. Yes, Alhamdulillah. This is 17 after 9, 17 minutes after 9. We have opportunity of about 30 minutes to enrich the discussion. We can contribute, we can ask questions, we can seek clarifications, you can give relevant information. Let us indicate our interest in doing any of those relevant things by raising our digital hand so that we can be promoted. Contribution, questions, clarifications, information. Contributions, questions, clarification.
ọ̀rọ̀ máa gbọ́dọ̀ pèsè jẹ́.
Let us raise our digital.
As a teacher, if I said all this and nobody is responding, I feel that I've failed to communicate. Have I failed to communicate? No. Shamsuddin Kosu, please unmute. Let's see. Unmute. Professor Shamsuddin Kosu, please unmute.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I will first respond to your last question. Imam, you have communicated as usual, except that we are all dumbfounded. Well, I'm dumbfounded. Maybe I can't speak for everyone. You have said it all, and unfortunately, the definition of couple is two people. So in a situation where one of the parties understands this situation and the other one does not, then the problem persists. And like we always say, we have all been damaged one way or the other. Our system is the system we met is very difficult to wrangle ourselves out of it. We have been schooled, we have been mentally distorted and all that, and even if we understand this concepts as you have described them, to put them into practice now becomes an issue. Without the fear of sounding like a sexist, or is it being misogynistic, or what do you call it? I think our women are more guilty of this material consciousness, because I don't know if it is in their nature or the corrupting system have more effect on them than men. I just don't see a way out of it. I mean, it's sounding seriously pessimistic here. And our coming generation are even more damaged than us as it is, with the influence and exposure to the outside world more than even during our time growing up. Back then, you may not know what is happening in the second street unless somebody come back from there and tell you something has happened there. But now, something will happen on the other end of the world and Google will tell you immediately. And you will have all the facts. So, just so that nobody responds to you, that's why I'm just rambling on. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I was almost going to say, is this what is happening? Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you very much. Lawal is what my daughter is saying. Perhaps experience make people say things like nítorí ọmọ ni mo ṣe ń ṣiṣẹ́, because we want to our children not to lack of the spouses aren't doing as expected. Well, you can't work because of children. Because Allah did not ask you to work because of children. He says, نَحْنُ نَرْزُقُهُمْ وَإِيَّاكُمْ. We provide for them and you. We provide for them and you. You work because Allah commands you to work. No more, no less. You simply work because Allah commands you to work. And I'm so positive about this. If you work because Allah commands you to work, three things will happen. Number one, you will do the work with which you are pleased, not the work you must do. Many of us do our works not by choice. The work we do is not by choice, it's by what we qualify to do. When somebody was trying to advise me to find something doing to complement my teaching job, I told him he's an old man. I told him I was a farmer. He shook his head, said, "You, professor of English, farmer." When we were on a journey to Ilorin, when we came back, I made him to come to my house. I showed him my farm. It's in the house, just a plot of land in the house. And I gave him one of the 6 varieties of pawpaw, 6 varieties of pawpaw at the back of my house. And he kept talking about the pawpaw. He saw yam, he saw plantain, and other things just on a plot of land. You know, but we are not doing what we want to do because people will talk. How can an engineer now become something else? I was very surprised when an industrial chemist was cited this morning going to learn mechanic from a mechanic in a mechanic village. You know, it happens like that. 2, you must be pleased with your status and earning. You must not worry. You must accept qadar, that this is the work I love doing. And this is what this work is giving me, including the headache. Enjoy it. That's your qadar. Number 3, make your family happy no matter what. No matter what. Let your family also know this. You are earning 200 naira, you are sending your children to school where you pay 200,000 naira on every child. You're crazy. You're crazy. You're simply crazy. You're looking at yourself as because you're educated, so what? No. This schooling is nonsense. When you go to any school, you face the same exam, but your certificate tells you no. No. Your children must go to a particular school. This is where we miss it. Your work now determines how you spend. There is nothing in the history of Islam that says a spouse shouldn't work. During the reign of Umar, he appointed women as market overseers. Our mother Khadija was a trader. The only issue is that they should not work while jeopardizing the training of the children because they will be accountable to Allah. Also, some women work because their husbands are here to recognize the fact that they are responsible for their family. Everything. Elobayayi. Yeah, I agree with you on the last point, but the man is irresponsible. There is nothing in the Islamic history that says women should not work. But there is nothing in the Islamic history and the scripture that says women must work. There is nothing. If there is any, let me know. Work is a command to the man. Expenditure in the home is a command to the man, not to the woman. So this is the basis upon which we commit ourselves to slavery. There is nothing that says women should not work. And this comes out of anger. We're already working. We're already enjoying the prestige. We're already happy with the status. And we're enduring the troubles. For example, the last part. The man may be mischievous. Yes, he may be mischievous. Yes. But then, will he do that if he's the one that is being responsible for everything? Whatever the woman does is a support. It should be voluntary. When the man discovers that the woman has married her work, naturally, I'm talking like a man, naturally, he will have resentment. Because naturally, too, the woman that is picking bills, even over the children, becomes bossy. Her language changes. She doesn't say, please bring the gas. Please don't forget to bring the gas. She will say, make sure you bring the gas. Talking to her husband, a man will appreciate when you are assisting him, but he does not appreciate when you insult him, when you don't respect him. Many women who work don't respect their husbands because they may be even earning more than the husband. These are the causes of crisis at home. When you give me attitude, it takes the grace of Allah and piety to pay attention to you. A man that is not respected loses self-esteem. And this one fires a negative reaction in him. He also violently, this is structural violence, structural violence, not slap, not fight. He violently deals with the woman, and the violence is on her emotions. Makes you say, you are a man now, fine. Let's see how two men live in one house. There are many homes that are going through this trouble because the woman is proud of working. And she gives attitude that I'm supporting you. Who cares for your support? Naturally, a man doesn't care for your support, but he appreciates your respect. If you respect him, the Khadija case that you cite, I've heard it several times. It is not correct. It is not correct. Khadija was doing it voluntarily. She was married to a man who had a greater status than her, and she has been twice widowed. So she must be careful. So it is not, Khadija is not relevant in work. It's not relevant at all because she married the prophet herself. The prophet did not marry her. She married the prophet when he was not a prophet. There was 15 years gap between them. Most women who quote Khadija cannot marry a man that is 2 years younger than them. They can't. So I like this anger. These are the kind of things I want to hear. That somebody seems to be angry because somebody thinks we are condemning women working. We are not condemning anybody, but we are saying when women work, shame on the men. Shame on the men. If women have to work, shame on the men. And if this has to happen, it is not normal. Why are we making the abnormal the new normal? This is what makes everybody keep quiet. We are looking for evidence for turning our women into machines. She goes out there to earn for us. Many people are abroad. It is the women that are working. Shame on these men that follow their wives. They now become nannies. Most marriages have crashed because of this work. You see, let us recognize that we have shortfalls. Let us admit as men our weaknesses, the errors we are committing. Don't let us assume that this abnormal thing is normal. Don't let us assume. Don't let us. The man should take care of his responsibility. That is why some men will now, because of this attitude, marry another woman and increase the trouble at home. Because you have small money, you become cocky. These are things that are happening in our lives. We know this. Allah instructed. Okay, let's see this.
Yes, the hand on the hand is
One of my boss, yes, I'm reading it. One of my boss in the office, and in fact, even my director are farmers. I buy smoked catfish from him always. I still bought last week. He usually brought vegetables and potatoes as well to the office. The other one is into yam and maize only. Thank you for giving me more example. But sir, some men tend to leave their responsibility to women, especially when they know she has money. I'm an advocate of women supporting their men, but some men just dagbogwe, silaya. Such women we tend not to respect such men. Yes, I agree with you, my daughter. Completely. We are blaming ourselves. We are saying men are terrible. Many men are terrible. Even the polygamy they do is wickedness. It's wickedness. I know people, so many people in Abuja here, a particular brother in Abuja here. We had to struggle to make him perform. He had to cover up with marrying a second wife. You are not performing. I mean, not being able to do this thing. And he covered up by marrying a second wife. What are we talking about? We are having very wicked men. They are not Muslims. Your polygyny is not Islam. When you cannot perform, many men react negatively to these things. We are not condoning it. We are not saying it is right. But we are saying it is not normal to turn your wife into a slave, working machine, and you are enjoying it. Go and seek forgiveness of Allah if you are here. If you know those who do it, go and ask them to seek tawbah. Allah instructed us after Juma to disperse in the land and seek His favor and blessings in our work. How can we justify not working? And with the current economic situation, Professor Osumio, you must work. Oh. I keep saying it, we need to be scheduling counseling sessions for our sons and daughters before we join them. We do. Except if you don't know. Any man that wants to be treated like king should also treat women like a queen. A queen will always respect a king. Correct. Who will call irresponsible men to order? Lemamu, Igbono ti daru, you and I know. Imamu Keji, you and I know. We have to be firm. We have to look at ourselves in the face.
I want us to go back to the question or the post of Professor Asim Lasisi. As Allah instructed us after Juma service to disperse in the land and seek His labor, His favor, and blessings in our work. How can we justify not working and with the current influence? I think he's talking more in respect of women not working. So,
okay, it's good to Juma.
Women not working, yes.
Good, you are still working on the abnormal. You are still looking at work as the source of your provision. It is not. Work is sabab. Work is sabab. Allah did not instruct women to go to the market. We do have market women in Islam. So all these, the prophet appointed women to to oversee the market. I fear. You are not quoting the Quran, you are quoting hadith. I fear. Allah does not contradict himself. Now, How did the people who received this message in Surah Al-Jumu'ah, how did they practicalize it? Go and read the tafsir. They were not going to the market to walk. They were going to the market to do askar. Waskurullah kathira. That is the corollary. وإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. When the prayer is concluded, spread on the earth, not to the market. Fil ardi, not aswak. Who told us that it is market? Those who travel for trade travel on Friday after Juma for the blessings of the Juma. Spread to the earth. Those who will not travel will go to the market. What would they be doing there? La ilaha illallah. Wahdahu la sharika lah. Lahul mulku wa lahul hamd. Wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. La ilaha. They are not buying, they are not selling. Those who go back to the market, they used not to go back to the market. And I say, no, go back. If you want to travel, travel for trade, travel for anything. They used not to do any work. Why? Because the Yahud were not working on Saturdays. And they think their own Sabbath is Friday. They were copying the Yahud who will not work on Friday. That is the reason for the revelation, not command to work. No, it is not a command to work. It's a command
Remember,
not to follow
this
the
is 20 minutes
Yahud.
to
Yeah?
9, and we have 2 hands up. The 2 hands have been off for long, sir. Can we quickly
Okay,
take them?
Madam Kupola, we have taken Professor Kasim Lasisi. Let's take Madam Kupola. Madam Kupola, quickly. We can continue next week.
You can almost.
Inshallah.
Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Imam, as usual, for.
Let it be free, please, because of that.
I know, but I need to do. Well, I just want to say that I agree with most of the things that has been said, but I want to look at this issue of work very well. Yes, we have been told that women should not work if only men can take up their responsibility and do the right thing. But the way we say it to these our young ones, we need to be very, very careful. I have the privilege to be closer to UNIFE when my husband was their national whatever. And I do go with him, but I know this is a bone of contention for them, for the students, and even the lecturers, such that the students were not in good terms with the lecturers. And they were arranging marriages in the halls using biscuits and dabino, to the extent that students married one student married 3 wives among the sisters. No work, no nothing. And they would tell even the children, the ladies, they were teaching them not to that, yes, you are studying a medicine, you are a lawyer, it doesn't matter. We brought people to come and educate them, to talk to them, and by the time the meal was contributing, they said, you know, just trying to all the things that the people, the person that they brought spoke, just trying to turn it, saying that it's not right for them to work. Yes, you can be in the house and maybe like selling ogi akara after 5-7 years in the university. So I think our children are getting it wrong. And unless they know and they understand, maybe I don't know how we're going to put it to them. What they heard, Emma Shishe, ọkùnrin ló máa ń ṣiṣẹ́, obìnrin náà gbọ́dọ̀, obìnrin ò dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ ṣiṣẹ́. Obìnrin ò bá gbọ́dọ̀ ṣiṣẹ́, Just like you said, are they ready to take up the responsibility wholeheartedly? And I will hand it with a colleague, a friend, where I stayed in the estate. He's even a Christian. The husband said, don't work. He was not doing anything. 5 children. As Allah will have, the man just died. She couldn't do anything. She did not know, even to run the house was a problem. I had to put something on the generator to ask, because everything, they were just bringing everything to the house for her. So the man died and everything just, and we had to be going to her head, talking, visiting her. He kept on. I said, this cry will not settle this thing. No. What are you? And you know what? The husband family, they just left her on her own because they believe why it was rosy, you are enjoying with your husband. So I think, yes, we need to tell our people, but how do we tell them such that they will understand? How do we make our men more responsible so that women will not be going at a skater? In fact, there are some instances, because we do counseling for children that want to marry. The husband will be at home looking at television, maybe they are playing ball. The wife will be cooking. The child will be probably crying. The wife must do everything despite the injunction of Allah. So why must we go through all those? So please, I think, and I also believe we should thank God. COVID has a lot of positive impact. At least most of us now have small farms at the back of the house, having vegetables and all whatnot. So if we can go further, if we are able to feed ourselves, then tẹ́bí bá ti kúrò nínú ìṣẹ́ ni òwe sọ, Yorùbá sọ, tẹ́bí bá ti kúrò nínú ìṣẹ́, ìṣẹ́ máa bùṣe ni. So I think we will go back to the drawing board, see we got it very wrong, and what we are going to do, what can we do so that we can change things for the better. So once again, thank you so much. May Allah accept this from us, Sanat of brother. Thank you so much.
Alhamdulillah, my dear sister. What I'm taking home from tonight's program is a gross misunderstanding of this program. Every woman thinks I said women must not work. Wallahi, I did not say that. And I cannot say that. My wife is working. Whoever thinks I said women should not work should seek istighfar from Allah. I, Tawfiq Abdulaziz, did not say women should not work. I didn't even say women must not work. But I know why people are reacting. I will repeat it without any fear. Women who work have already enjoyed this work as alternative to their husband. Yes. They're enjoying the prestige. They're enjoying the consequences, the daring consequences of work. However, I must say that next week, we are continuing with this discussion. Everybody should bring evidence. I don't want to use bad word. The extremist, the Salafi tendency, wallahi, it is from Shaitan. It is to destroy our daughters. I have been a victim. 2 of my daughters have been victims of this. You cover their faces, and then you make them not to work, you make them useless, and it is happening all over. I agree with this. This is extremism. This is not what we are preaching. This is not, we can never preach this. All we are saying is that the man should be responsible. However, the men that should be responsible will not come to this platform. They won't come. I challenge you, women. Bring your men. Bring your men. You won't be able to do so because they have concluded that you are the boss. It is wrong, but it is a fact. It is a fact. We are saying, don't let us accept the abnormal as normal. The fact that everybody is doing it does not make it to be right. It doesn't make it to be right. You know, this work is affecting everybody, and it is making the men to be lazy and to be irresponsible. We're not saying women should not work, but we're saying it is not normal. What is normal is what work should women do? Let's come back next week. What work should women do? What work should women not be encouraged to do? There are gender-specific works, gender-specific works in Islam. And those works do not disturb the family. We will continue next week. This is 10 minutes to 10. You didn't wake up early.
Alhamdulillah, we have no option than to draw the curtain on the discussion for tonight, though we know we have a lot of things to clarify, but we cannot continue. Let us all meet tomorrow, next week again. We continue from where we have stopped today. We are very sorry if you cannot take more questions or more reactions. National Coordinator, sir, your closing remarks, sir.
We thank everybody, thank our Imam, thank everybody that has attended this session. So, thank Imam that he has made the clarification. We are an organization of professionals, both men and women, and we work. Our women folk work in different positions. But what we are saying is that don't let the women working, don't let it be something that's going to affect critical part of their life. So, but I'm still going to give further explanation by next week, inshallah. So we pray Allah to be with all of us, sustain our life, perfect our affairs, and continue to preserve all of us in goodness. Jazakumullah Imam and everybody. Till next week again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I've noted your clarification, Professor Lasisi, and we will go back to it. Surah to Nur. I thought we have passed that stage. We have explained you cannot marry when you can't afford it. You cannot. And that is the nonsense those boys are doing. There are qualifications for marriage. There are men who must not marry. We have it in Surah to Nur. Remind me next week. We are starting from there. Who should marry? But our focus next week, inshallah, gender-specific work. What work should women do? Engineer Idowu, what work should Muslim women do? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.